Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. There is infinite infrastructure news and just unbridled ambition coming from Sam Altman, and we are going to talk about that, but I wanted to start with something a little bit different just because we have been so infrastructure heavy recently. It's almost like there are a few totally different parts of AI discussion, especially in places like X/Twitter. On the one hand, you get these big picture, high macro level conversations around trillion-dollar infrastructure buildouts and bubbles and all of that stuff. And then meanwhile, as people are debating endlessly, bubble or not, productive or not, you have this legion of creators that are just pouring themselves into every new model that gets released, discovering capabilities that weren't possible 5 minutes ago. And sometimes models pop their little head up and suggest that something really different is just on the horizon. This is why I've talked about this idea of a utility score and needing to judge new models on the basis of what new use cases they actually bring online, as opposed to a more simplistic take that just looks at them in terms of traditional benchmarks. Well, one model that everyone is talking about right now is a new video model that's going viral with its incredibly on-point live deepfake ability. The model can take a video input and a single reference picture and then completely replace the person in the video. After a couple of days of playing, there were lots of breathless tweets like this one from Sirio Barati, who writes, "WAN 2.2 Animate is crazy, and it actually excels at 3 things from my tests. 1, lip syncing, so far the best open source I've seen, beating Runway Act 2. 2, consistent lighting and shadows with color tone replication when you swap a character. 3, it keeps the replacement character aligned with realistic body dynamics even beyond the face. It's great for full body replacement." Justine Moore from A16Z took the model for a test ride and did a bunch of tests, and said it's particularly strong at videos where you need to replicate lip sync and body movement. Now, she did note that there were some limitations. She said that it needed to have a single character facing forward the entire time, and that it works better when the character is closer in the frame. She also said, especially in clips that are over 5 seconds, it can sometimes get a bit off sync with the timing, and that in some cases, both in terms of the background and in terms of the character, there is a little bit of blending. But overall, people are seeing the possibilities and thinking about what they can do with it. A Google engineer going by Lou writes, "Seems like a good way for people who don't want to be known to start content creation. Well, check this out. Honestly, scary to do content creation while in tech these days." Another use case related to that I've been thinking about, my almost 7-year-old daughter has a bunch of ideas for creating a YouTube channel where she reads stories. And I'm much more interested in a version of that where she is an animated avatar character, especially if the source video is still her expressions and motions and all the things that make her unique, just without having my daughter's 7-year-old face all over the internet. In any case, if the OpenAI rumors are true, we might be on the verge of another breakthrough video model. And so it's likely that WAN 2.2 might just be a footnote in the larger history, but we are clearly on the cusp of something very big and transformative. Speaking of big and transformative, the fallout from the NVIDIA OpenAI story continues, and boy is everyone involved just absolutely slamming the gas pedal on ambition. Sam Altman took to his own blog to write a short post called Abundant Intelligence, where he reinforced the themes that he had been sharing in interviews. Growth in the use of AI services, he said, has been astonishing. We expect it to be even more astonishing going forward. As AI gets smarter, access to AI will be a fundamental driver of the economy and maybe eventually something we consider a fundamental human right. Almost everyone will want more AI working on their behalf. To be able to deliver what the world needs, for inference compute to run these models and for training compute to keep making them better and better, we're putting the groundwork in place to be able to significantly expand our ambitions for building out AI infrastructure. If AI stays on the trajectory that we think it will, then amazing things will be possible. Maybe with 10 gigawatts of compute, AI can figure out how to cure cancer. Or with 10 gigawatts of compute, AI can figure out how to provide custom tutoring to every student on Earth. If we are limited by compute, we'll have to choose which one to prioritize. No one wants to make that choice, so let's go build. Our vision is simple. We want to create a factory that can produce a gigawatt of new AI infrastructure every week. The execution of this will be extremely difficult. It will take us years to get to this milestone, and it will require innovation at every level of the stack, from chips to power to robotics. But we have been hard at work at this, and we believe it is possible. In our opinion, it will be the coolest and most important infrastructure project ever. We are particularly excited to build a lot of this in the US. Right now, other countries are building things like chip fabs and new energy production much faster than we are, and we want to help turn that tide. Over the next couple of months, we'll be talking about some of our plans and the partners we are working with to make this a reality. Later this year, we'll talk about how we are financing it. Given how increasing compute is the literal key to increasing revenue, we have some interesting new ideas. But if you thought that blog was just focused on the NVIDIA deal, nope, OpenAI has in fact announced 5 new US data centers as part of Project Stargate. They confirmed that Oracle was partnering to construct 3 new sites located in Shackelford County, Texas, Doña Ana County, New Mexico, and a yet-to-be-confirmed site in the Midwest. Those 3 sites, in combination with an expansion to the flagship site in Abilene, Texas, are expected to deliver 5.5 gigawatts of data center capacity. OpenAI added that these sites represent a partnership that exceeds $300 billion between the two companies over the next 5 years. The additional 2 sites are being developed through a partnership with SoftBank. The first is in Lordstown, Ohio, and is set to be operational next year, and the second site is in Milam County, Texas. OpenAI said that these 2 sites can scale to 1.5 gigawatts over the next 18 months. For those doing the math, that means they're planning to bring nearly 7 gigawatts of capacity and over $400 billion in investment over the next 3 years. Now, of course, the big question is financing, and it's not even necessarily clear that OpenAI has exactly figured that all out yet. Said Altman, "I don't think we figured out yet the final form of what financing for compute looks like." One thing that's very clear is that they are trying to rally ambition so that financing is just a detail to be solved, not a fundamental barrier. Writes Brad on Twitter, "Stargate will eventually be an American TSMC on steroids. This is Sam's plan to rebuild the US industrial base." Bringing us back to Earth a little bit, and maybe giving us a little bit of a reveal on how Apple is currently thinking about things, the Cupertino company has added MCP support in their latest operating system update. The developer betas for iOS 26.1 as well as the iPad and Mac versions include the building blocks to integrate MCP support into App Intents. The App Intents framework is Apple's system for enabling cross-app functionality. For example, allowing various apps to tap into functionality from Siri, Spotlight, Search, and widgets. Writes 9to5Mac, that means that based on today's code, Apple plans to let developers use a system-level MCP integration to expose actions and functionalities within their apps to AI platforms and agents. In practice, this means that soon, you could have ChatGPT, Claude, or any other MCP-friendly AI model directly interacting with Mac, iPhone, and iPad apps, autonomously taking actions within those apps without developers having to do the heavy lifting of fully implementing MCP support on their own. Lastly today, from the AI coding sphere, GitHub is rolling out AI coding agents capable of eliminating tech debt. The agents are meant to automatically modernize legacy Java and .NET applications, work that would usually take months of tedious and expensive developer time that can now be done quickly and cheaply by AI. Microsoft's corporate VP for the developer division, Amanda Silver, said, "My goal here is to erase technical debt for the industry. A lot of these organizations have 15, 20, 25 years of technical debt that they've accrued that they can start to take care of in a fraction of the time." Now, this really has been one of the most desired use cases. Back in June, Morgan Stanley showed off their project to update 9 million lines of COBOL code with the help of AI. That project required custom-built tools, and although they claimed it saved 280,000 hours of developer time, it still seemed like a significant endeavor. It sounds like from the announcement that we got this week that GitHub is starting to try to develop generalized tools that can perform this type of task straight out of the box. Now, speaking of developers and how they use AI, that is in fact the subject of our main episode, so here we will close out the headlines and head on over there for all of that.